Hello and welcome everyone. In this video tutorial, we will discuss about public, private and self variable in Python. So we will start off this video tutorial by discussing what is a self variable in Python and how we can use it in our class. Then we will discuss how to utilize public as well as private variables in the Python class. So without any further delay, let's jump to the very first topic and let's understand about the self variable. The class instance in Python is linked to the instance method with the help of self variable. To gain access to the instance variable and methods, we must explicitly declare it as the first method argument. The instance methods are the only one that uses this variable. Now there is also one misconception related to it, that self is a keyword in Python, but it is not. See, we can define self variable with any other name. The only condition to use it, we need to use it as a first method argument, and we can use any other name instead of self. So the current object can be accessed in a method in the most object oriented programming language without having explicitly passed it as a method argument. For instance, in Java, what we do, we utilize the this keyword to access the current object. However, in Python, the object instance must be explicitly declared as a self. Now, how we can do this and how we can use this self variable, let's understand this thing with the help of an example. And for this, what I will do, I will open my Visual Studio Code. Now first, what I will do, I will define a class and I will name this class as person. Now within this class, first I will define a constructor using the init function. Now here, as I told you, the very first argument will be the self variable, and after self variable I will give two more arguments. First is name, second is age. Now as discussed earlier, this self variable is utilized to gain access, or we can say it is used to refer to the properties of a class or a method. So what I will do, I will use the self variable to access the value of name, and I will assign the value to name itself. In the same way, I will do it for age. And after this, let's define one more function. This time I will name this function as user info, and again self variable will be there with this function as well. Now what I will do in this function, I will combine the value of name and age and I will print a string using it. Now again here also, if I want to utilize the value of name and age, I have to use self variable. So I will simply use the self variable to print the value of name and age, and it will basically return a string using it. So in this example, what we have done, we have defined a class named person. We have also defined a constructor which take two arguments, name and age, and then we have used this function user underscore info which will return this string. First it will return the name and it will tell the age of that particular name. Now next step is to define an object for this class. So I will define the object as obj, and then I will simply call this person class. Now as I have defined a constructor for it, I have to pass the value for name and age. Let me pass the value for name as James and age is 26. Now if I print this object, or rather printing the object, what I will do, I will print the function user info. Now let me open my terminal and let me run this program. So I will type python main.py. Sorry, I forgot to put parentheses with my function. And again if I run this program, here you can see the result. James is 26-year old. So in this way, we can utilize this self variable to access the value from one function to another within our class. Now let's move to the next topic and let's discuss about the public variable in Python. Now basically in Python, there is no limitations on the variables. We can access variables or the member methods that we can call. Basically by default, Python makes every variable and method public. Therefore, we don't need to do anything when we want to make a variable or a method public. We simply need to define it as it is, like we defined in our previous example. So let's take one more example related to this public variable in Python. Again, I will move back to my Visual Studio Code. Let me close the terminal. Let me clear the screen. Now this time I will create another class and I will name this class as employee. Now what I will do in this class, I will define one global variable. Let me name this variable as TS Info Technologies. Now this is our global variable, so we can use this variable anywhere or in any method of this class. Moreover, when we define a global variable, the by default property of that variable is public, which means we can access this company variable outside of the class as well. Now after this, let's define the constructor for it. So again I will define def init. Again the first argument will be self, then there is name, and then there is age. Again, I will assign the value for name and age. Now let's create one more function, and I will name this function as def_info. Now again, for this function also, the first argument will be self, then the next value argument is SAL, which represents salary, and one more I will create, which is department. And again, I will use the self keyword to assign the value for salary and department. Now let's create the object for this class. So I will again name this object as obj employee, and as I have used constructor, I have to specify certain values. So value for name will be Ron, age will be 28. Now let's use this object to access the public variables. So as you know, as I told you, by default everything that we define, either it is a variable or it is a method, it will be remain public. So for example, if I want to print the company name using the company variable, I can do that because it is a public variable. I just need to write obj.company, which is the name of the variable. In the same way, I can print the name of the employee, and I can even print the age. Now if I run this program, see here you can see the result. Company name is this TS Info Technologies, employee name is Ron, and we are also able to fetch the age. Now let's use the another function and fetch its value as well. So for this, I have to specify the value for salary and department, and I will use the object for this. So I will type info obj.employee_info. Then I have to specify the value for salary. Let me specify salary as 20,000, and then department as IT. And after this, if I again use the print function to print the employee salary, so I will type obj.sal. In the same way, I can print the employee department, and I have to use obj.dept. Now again, if I run this program, here you can see I am able to access all the variables which are defined in different methods. So we are commonly able to fetch the variables as well as the methods which are defined within the class, and we are able to fetch them outside of the class as well using the object. So I hope with this you all understand the concept related to public variable in Python. Let's move forward and let's discuss about the private variable. Now practically there is no such thing as private member variable in Python. The norm followed by the majority of the Python code, however, is that making a variable or a method private, we can do that with the help of double underscore, or we have to use two underscores at the beginning of the variable or the method. So what I will do, I will create another example for it. So here I am back to my Visual Studio Code. Now as I told you, to define any private variable, we just need to use double underscore in front of the variable or the method. So in this way I have defined this company variable as private. Now let me remove everything and let me try to fetch the company variable using the object. If I run the program, here you can see we got this error where it is showing an attribute error, employee object has no attribute _ company. This happens because we have defined this company variable as private. If I remove the double underscore from in front of the name and again try to print this, here you can see we are able to fetch the company name. Now we can do the same thing with the help of using the double underscore in front of the method. So if I use double underscore and define this employee method, let me rename it to info, and instead of fetching two elements, I will fetch only one, department, and I will also return the value for department. Now I have to use this obj.get. Now I have to use this obj.employee info function, and I have to pass the value for department. Let me pass the value as IT, and if I try to fetch the value of this department, so what I will do, I will simply use all this thing in the print function, and I will remove this print function from here. Now if I run the program, here you can see we were able to fetch the value of company name that we have changed from private back to public. And then if we are trying to fetch the value for employee info that we have defined as private using the double underscores, the Python interpreter will return us this error, which is an attribute error, and it is unable to find the particular attribute. Now if I remove this double underscore from starting of this function, and then try to access the function, it will return me the name of the department, that is IT. So I hope with this you all understand the concept of public, private and self variable, and we have also come to the end of this tutorial session. Thank you so much for watching this video. We will see you in the next one.